Hey, Tom here. We got some projects to do today. We've got some work we're going to be doing on the Colchester lathe. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, as you can see, we're able to get in here now, move around, actually work on the lathe. So having the mill on the new stand, shifting everything over is giving us the room we're supposed to have so we can work. You can kind of see too, we also moved the controller for the computer for the plasma cam off to my left here. So it opens up the walkways. It makes things a lot more logical now. We can really move around and start getting parts where we need to. One of the upcoming projects I'm going to do is actually either fully replacing this water table or making some changes to the water table and the slat system in it. The water table that I made is, frankly, the distance from the top of the material to the water is too tall. It's 4, 6, it's probably closer to 7 or 8 inches, and you really need it to be, you know, an inch or two at most to capture all the dust and particles. And as a result, as you can see, we get a lot of dust on everything. You know, it helps quite a bit, and it keeps the sparks down, and it keeps it from getting all over the place. But it still generates a lot of smoke. It's very, very fine particulate, and that metal then becomes almost like a sandpaper, right? Well, with all the other machinery in here, you know, that means that the oils capture those metals and become like a lapping compound. We don't want to do that. I do have some projects to do today. Plans are actually sitting right there. But first things first, now that I can actually get into the lathe and start using it, bought me some fresh shop towels. I need to do some maintenance on it. I'm going to probably bring the shop vac around, vacuum good, but you know, all the moving parts need to be cleaned. You know, they're all, I mean, the nice part is they were oiled well, right? So they're not rusting on me, but I don't want that grit in there. These are already worn, as you may have seen in that in those first videos I did about my Colchester lathe. I've got some very definite wear marks in there. The other things that I want to do on the lathe today before I really get started is we need to top up the oil. I don't know how many people know this, but this oil isn't just for here, it actually lubricates. At least that's what I'm led to believe. So I want to top that up. At some point in the near future we'll be doing a full service on the lathe again. I haven't, never really got the lathe fully up and running at the old shop before we had to move, and so I want to do a change to it. Check that the levels are fine, the oil's in there, it's not like I'm running it dry, but I'd rather run it with good clean oil and something that I know. So both the gearbox and for the the headstock, and then the actual gearbox itself here, we'll need to do oil changes on and do services on. Otherwise, everything's been fine. I'll bring you back in a little bit. I don't think you guys really want to see me just sitting here wiping everything off, right? Not much fun. So I'll bring you back in a little bit. Alright, let's take a look at the drawings here that the customer provided us, along with some of the material that they provided. So effectively, these are templates that they use. I don't know, it's all washed out. I don't know if you guys can see it. Basically, paper template for drilling. It's for security doors, right? To put the equipment on the security doors. And so what we're doing is helping them with this. What they want to do, they're going to use a 3/16 inch plate. we're going to weld, or actually I'm not doing any of this, I'm just doing the turning part of it, but basically the idea is to take these parts, weld the nut, or weld nuts, I guess, that's the idea, and we're making drill guides. So what we're doing though is we're making drill guides that are replaceable, or sorry, interchangeable. So the idea being that for all of these here, we'll have a nut that's welded to this plate. This bolt will actually get cut off at, I want to say, 1 inch. So from the nut face here, the face of the nut, out 1 inch. And then that'll be bored 7/16, and then we'll do another one that's 1/4 inch. So these, you can basically unscrew it and put it in the place that you want to go. Me personally, I would probably just do it once, but or put 4 of these in here, but that's what they want. So 7/16 on these parts. I think there's an optional 1/4 inch one, is the reason why they want to be able to swap things out. So we're doing one with 7/16, one's with 1/4 inch. And then this long one, actually the idea is to turn this down to remove the threads. It looks like they want a 3/16 inch long register that is 1/8 inch in diameter. So basically they can use this one with the nut, so they'll put a nut on, register it on the part of the metal, and then weld it. And then they can take this out and do it again. So it helps them register the parts. So I'm making this for somebody else. Me personally, the way that I would have done this, if it were just for me, I'd take this drawing, put it on the plasma cam, cut 3/16 with the holes in place, and then with these, I would just do oversized holes, right, so that they would register in there. I could just turn a small register and weld the parts directly on and be done. But that's the requirements they have. That's what they want, so that's what we're going to do. The other part to this, originally, we were going to do all these as separate parts, right? But on my recommendation, I actually got them to, we're going to do this as one piece. So this guy here, we'll turn it down to diameter, and we'll poke some holes in it. This is shaft steel, I guess, and it will get welded on there as well. So they can go that route. It should be fairly straightforward to do, because this 3/4 inch hole here, I gotta figure out a way to get them to register it properly for them. So let me think about that too. But anyways, that's what we're working on today. Alright, so rather than have you listening to a bunch of squeaky audio, I decided to do a voiceover here. As you can see, we're just going through and parting off the bolt head and then getting it to length, because we're really just using the threads. We had an overall length here of 1 inch past the threads, facing it off, and then doing some simple drilling operations. So just getting this one, we had 2 of these to do, one at 1/4 inch, so it was just a 1 piece here, and then one at a 1/2 inch. And so we did the drilling, we chamfered all the edges, then we flipped it around once it was ready to go, put the nut back on it, and we faced everything nice and true, because we wanted to make sure that the hole was going to be perpendicular to the nut, or to the face of the metal. Yeah, light chamfer on the hole. This one is done. Yeah, it's not even warm. Nice. So of course, being that I do welding too, kind of killed me a little bit to be putting oil all over this, knowing that it was going to, come on, focus, there we go, knowing that it was going to get welded. But so effectively, you can see here, that face, well, that'll get welded, but he'll take this out and he'll put a sacrificial bolt in to get it registered. But we do want to keep this as a pair. Alright, I'm going to work on the other one and I'll bring you back. Alright, I got started on the next part. I've already cut it to length. And now I'm creating the shoulder, or the register here for this guide. And the print calls for 1/8. So I was actually just coming in to check. So we got our decimeters here. And 572. We got a ways to go. So let's get back at it. Alright, more lathe work at super speed. We'll take a closer look here at what we're doing. I'm doing all the feeding by hand and just trying to get this down for that pin, get it down to an 1/8 inch. And one of the things that I was doing in all this is getting a better feel for how tightly I can do my tolerances and what the readout on the dials actually were doing for me, because again, I'm still really getting a hang of using this new lathe and I'm loving it. Oh, why do I feel like I just blew this up? Oh, 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 oh. You guys see that? I'm half over. Wow. Nice. What I don't like, I really feel like that register is not big enough. That's what they were calling for. This is I'm working to print. This is a friend of mine who's doing the fabrication though. I'm going to call him up and talk to him about this. That register, I mean that pin, it's probably fine. It's actually probably too long. It really just needs to center, right? So it only needed to be 3/16 of an inch long. And I'm hair over 1/4, so a little on the long side, but that's what he asked for, so I'll bring it up to him and it'll be his decision to make. Alright, thanks for watching.